Charlie Angus will not be leaving Parliament anytime soon, but the veteran NDP MP says this will be his last term in office, choosing to step aside after 20 years and choosing to not run again when Parliament is dissolved, presumably sometime next year. Mr. Angus is one of the more prominent voices in Parliament, and he has served as the NDP caucus chair in the past and ran for his party's leadership in 2017, placing second behind Jagmeet Singh. Well, we are now joined by the NDP MP for the Ontario riding of Timmins-James Bay, Charlie Angus. Charlie, thank you for joining us again.
Well, thank you so much for having me on this show one more time.
Well, you're not done yet. We may reach out
still. I hope it's not the last time.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. But listen, agree or disagree with your positions. Without a doubt, you are passionate about what you do. How difficult was this decision to decide not to run again?
I've loved and honored the work of being a voice for people who felt they've been written off the political map of this nation. I've been 20 years at this. There's been some great moments. But when I look at the size of my region, the size of the new riding I'm supposed to take on, I began to think maybe there's other ways I can do what I really want to do in life, being a voice, of stirring the pot when it's needed, and also having a bit of a life.
A bit of a life. And, to those who don't know, your riding is being redistributed, reconstituted for the next vote. Had the riding not been redistributed, though, would you have stayed?
Well, my riding already is bigger than the United Kingdom. So putting in perspective, I've had to travel by prop plane into communities, by helicopter, by freighter canoe. I've had a whole whack of near misses on the northern highways, which anyone who drives 11 or 17 knows it's white knuckle ride at the best of times. But I love those regions and I love those communities. And in the new region, I take on 20,000 square kilometers of more territory and more communities that I've never been in before. So it's all about having to build those relationships from the grassroots up. So the question is this is what I've been given. This is what the Electoral Boundary Commission thinks is fair for Northern Ontario. I think it's a ridiculous size, these northern ridings. But I had to make a choice, and I'm very comfortable with the choice I've made.
The Conservative leader, though, he says you are jumping ship rather than, quote, face voters' anger for voting to hike the carbon tax, to ban hunting rifles, as he puts it, for Northern Ontarians. What do you say to that? How do you respond to what we heard from Pierre Poilievre?
Well, I've known Pierre for 20 years, and I've never seen 1 ounce of class in the man. The fact that he's running to be Prime Minister now, I find that concerning that he makes these... It's not the cheap shots against me. I don't care what he says, but he just lies. I have hunting rifles. My neighbors have hunting rifles. Nobody's taken their hunting rifles. Pierre Poilievre thinks people are stupid, and he thinks he can put out these attacks. So if he wants to attack me, whatever. Again, life is too short to worry about that. It's kind of like being stoned to death with spitballs, and they just think you're going to stand there long enough, you'll fall over. So I'm not worried about Pierre Poilievre's comments about me.
Okay, not worried about Pierre Poilievre, but what about the state of your party right now? Because you are not alone in announcing that you will not run again for New Democrats. We also saw Daniel Blakey leave to join the government of Wab Kinew. Does this say anything about the state of the party right now?
Certainly losing Daniel Blakey to Wab really hurt. Daniel, to me, is really a future of our party, but I get it. Wab Kinew is doing extraordinary things, and Daniel gets to work closer to home. For the rest of us, it's very much, I think, part of the renewal and transition of politics. Carol Hughes, my colleague, both of us have been really hammered by the riding distribution issues and looked at it in the same way. Richard Canning, Randall Garrison have put in, they have a right to sort of retirement. And in all my years in Parliament, I've seen fantastic MPs step down, leave, and I would think, oh my God, the party's not going to survive. It's renewal. This is what we do. I think we've got a great record to run on. We've done some extraordinary things in this Parliament, and I'm very sure that in the next election, the candidate that we will be choosing for Timmins-James Bay will, well, the new riding, what it's not even called Timmins-James Bay anymore, will win because these are strong NDP ridings.
Okay, you use the word renewal, and beyond the personnel, do you actually think the party needs to also reconsider how it moves forward? Of course, right now, very much tied to the supply and confidence agreement with the governing Liberals.
When I ran in 2019 and 2021, I knocked on countless doors and people looked at me and said, why should I vote? They said, I can't get my kids' teeth fixed. I can't pay for dentures. The senior citizen said that. And we said, vote for us and we will make dental care a reality. We got ridiculed when we came into the House by the Liberals and the Conservatives and the Bloc, and we brought it in. Dental care will become a reality. We put in place the steps for pharmacare to become a reality. I think the work we did last week on the peace with Gaza was a historic moment, and people noticed around the world. That's what we do as New Democrats. So I think it's a hell of a record to go back to the people with. It'll be someone else other than me, though, because after 20 years, I've just driven those roads too many times. I don't want anyone to think I don't believe in the great work we've done and be willing to sell it, but I also do need to go back to my family. I've been a part-time dad, a part-time husband, part-time community member in my town of Cobalt, and there's a lot of things I really want to do and I need to do.
Yeah, and I think people forget how much sacrifice is involved when one chooses a political life. But you also do talk about a return to grassroots activism, and you say that there will be more SH disturbing from you in the future. So what is next for Charlie Angus?
Well, my band Grievous Angels are playing again, which is fantastic. That's makes my soul feel alive, so we've got a new record coming out. It's great. But the other issue is I think the climate crisis. And I think it's going to take grassroots activism. We're in a climate catastrophe, and we have a House of Commons full of, I think, climate deniers. They just aren't dealing with this. And I've sat at committees after committee, and I think that a lot of what's going to bring about change in the next battle on the climate crisis will be from the grassroots. So I want to participate in that. I want to continue working in the First Nation communities, where I started. And, I want to help out at the local museum, and there's a million little projects I got on Charlie Angus's wish list. So stay tuned.
Okay, we will stay tuned. We'll bug you before you're done. But for tonight, Charlie Angus, thank you for that.
Thank you so much.